Happy summer, everybody. Now, I know what you're thinking. You don't want to be thinking about schoolwork during the summer, especially not the start of summer. If you take just a little bit of time now to listen to what I'm telling you once or twice a week through the summer, you're going to be much better come May for that AP Literature and Composition exam. So this time around, the first thing that I want to really talk to you guys about is the structure of the AP Literature and Composition exam. So you need to know that it's 3 hours long. It's a very long exam. It's very comprehensive. The first section is going to be roughly 55 multiple choice questions. You're going to have to read a few different passages. Some will be prose, some could be poetry, some could be from a play or drama, some could be excerpts from a novel or short story. You're going to have to read those and then answer the corresponding question. And usually what you're asked in those questions is there'll be a couple on what does this word mean in context, there'll be a couple literary device questions, and then there's going to be a lot of characterization questions, of inference questions, of just trying to interpret what was going on and make sense of it. There's going to be some questions that are regarding the theme. Oh, you have to average about one question a minute because there's 55 plus reading that. Multiple choice, going to have to practice a lot, going to have to read a lot in order to do well on that. The second section is 3 different essays, and that makes up the rest of the exam. The essays are worth 55% of your overall score. So we do need to focus a little bit more on that. You have 2 hours to write 3 full essays. One of these essays is going to be about a poetry prompt that you're given. Now, what they'll do is they'll give you a poem. It could be an old poem. It could be a newer poem. You don't know. So you have to be familiar with old style of poetry and newer style poetry. You're going to be given a prompt that is very vague and generic, and you're going to have to answer that prompt. Usually you'll do okay if you could pick out some literary devices, explain how they're working in the piece, but also how it ties into the meaning of the work as a whole. That's usually going to be a good starting point for you, if not good for the entire essay. Another essay that you'll have to write is the prose essay, and that's just a fancy way of saying it ain't poetry, and it's also not going to be nonfiction. So for instance, in the past, Nathaniel Hawthorne's passages were given. Again, not a full thing, but maybe one full page of a couple different columns. It could be a decent amount of reading that you have to do for maybe 10 minutes or so and underline things, but you're going to be given that, and once again, you're going to be given a vague, generic prompt. It could be about the speaker's attitude towards the subject. It could be about the characterization of the people within the story. It could be about specific literary devices, or it could just be even more vague and just say, what is this about? What's the theme? How does this illuminate the work as a whole? It can use some of those key words, and you'll have to write about that and analyze it. The third essay is an open question, which means they only give you a prompt, which you don't know ahead of time, and then you're asked to answer the prompt using any work of literary merit. They'll give you a list of 15 to 20 titles, but you're not bound to that list at all. You can choose any book that you feel is relevant and is of scholarly literary merit. So that's sometimes the hardest one because you're not given any direction at all other than the prompt. So for instance, they might ask you something like a character in a book or in a novel or in a play is often given some type of gift. Explain how that gift can lead to the character's demise or actually help the character through their plot or through their story. And then you have to analyze it. So sometimes people are lost at that. Ultimately, that's what the AP Literature exam is. It's a 3-hour test, 1 hour for multiple choice, 2 hours for 3 different essays. The poetry essay, the prose essay, and the open question. So throughout the summer, we'll talk about those ones. I'll tell you specifically of some examples of what they look like, of what they ask for, some books that you could potentially answer or help prepare yourself, and we'll just be doing this casually through the summer, sometimes through video, sometimes through articles. So just take a couple minutes each week of watching these, listening to them, comment on them. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you need for this AP Literature and Composition class. But just know, if you prepare even a little bit now, where there's no stress, where you're having fun during the summer, it's going to be a lot easier for you when you go back to school and start preparing in your class.